Welcome back, gamers. With Gun's bombshell announcement yesterday of the upcoming content pass, there's a ton to talk about. Personally, overall, the pass looks great to me. I'm super excited for it, but the thing that stood out the most, honestly, which I was not expecting at all, is the new game mode called Rush Week. This is just going to be my prediction of what I think the new game mode will be. Of all the things that I was expecting coming to the game for the anniversary and in the coming months, I did not have a new game mode on the bingo card for 2024. I was not expecting it at all, but I'm pumped. At a surface level, I guess when we see Rush Week, what do we think? Oh yeah, you know, the current meta of the game. Family, victims, they're rushing like crazy, gotta get to the basement, gotta get out of the basement. It's the easy answer is to say that, yeah, the new game mode will probably be about rushing. But why would Gun do that? Personally, I think they're pretty unhappy with the rush meta, the lack of stealth in the game. Like that whole part of the game kind of needs reworked, despite the game being based around it. I think Gun wants to do that, so unless this game mode is somehow like a tease of the upcoming adjustments to the game, which I don't think it would be, that would be silly. I think it's going to be something entirely different. You know, I guess an exception could be maybe it's something where they start everyone in the basement, family and victims, or maybe they reverse the roles. Family starts in the basement, victims start a layer out of the basement. I don't know exactly how that would work. That doesn't sound very fun to me for either side of the game. Plus you're taking away people from, I guess, the standard game mode. So that just doesn't seem right to me. I think it'll be something different. Now, personally, when I saw Rush Week, the next thing that came to my mind, besides, you know, the Rush meta, was college fraternities and sororities, because each of these typically have something that is called a Rush Week. Now, I did a little bit of looking around. I kind of, you know, I didn't really put these comments or thoughts anywhere, but that was something that was in the back of my mind. And then I happened to be watching some YouTube videos, and sure enough, came across a comment on a Dingus Crusader video. And this is what it said. I've cracked the part of what the Rush Week is in TCM. Rush Week is a US frat and sorority term where during Rush Week, fraternities and sororities host events to give new students their first chance to meet new members, to make the best first impression, to be respectful, personal, make eye contact, try your hardest to remember all the names of the new people, yada, yada, yada. So Gun would be the fraternity or sorority hosting this Rush Week event. And the new game mode will feature, you know, people rushing, essentially. It wouldn't have anything to do with the new rush meta, but will instead be a way to introduce new players to the game via a silly game mode. And then they also go on to say, I also feel like I should mention that why this makes sense. At least it makes sense considering Maria and her friends are college age students. And there we have it. It's the truth. Every victim is, aside from, you know, Mother Virginia, everyone is in their late teens, early 20s, perfect college age, perfect, you know, fraternity, sorority, rush age. We also had a big tweet from Wes Keltner, Gun CEO, yesterday, who said more news on Rush Week soon, but for now, it's a new map, a new mode, and a new era with the silence emoji and a zipped mouth emoji. So this is kind of crazy. I don't know what exactly they're cooking up, but I am pumped. Personally, it's got me. I'm juiced. I don't even know how to put words into it. I just wasn't expecting this at all. Now, I guess let me backtrack a little bit. What do we think this new game will be? So I have a couple ideas. There's a weird part of me that thinks it is maybe going to be a single player game mode. I don't know that for sure, but you know, in F13 we had those single player missions which were super fun. They added them to the game, you know, a little, I don't remember when exactly, but sometime post launch, like at least a year later. And they're super cool. They kind of follow different storylines in F13 movies. They could totally do something like that for TCM, or even have, you know, some original storylines that they want to play out. And generally, you know, these had bots. Currently there's no bots in TCM. Maybe we will get that as well, who knows, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the other part of me thinks it's going to be some sort of new game mode where there's different tasks or challenges or something specific to do, and it's all going to be on some sort of new map. You know, when you're rushing a fraternity or sorority, a lot of the times, you know, there's little tasks or challenges, you know, different, hopefully, you know, harmless ones, not anything crazy hazing wise, you know, that that doesn't happen in college anywhere. But I think that it could kind of correlate to that. So there's we've got a couple mini games in the game currently with the fuse box and such, and I think we could see some of that for this game mode, which would have it work for single player or multiplayer. If it was on the multiplayer side of things, you could still have family doing some challenges like this too. You could have victims doing some different challenges, and maybe eventually each side's trying to work as fast as they can to eventually meet up in the middle where something happens. I don't know, one side wins, maybe there's no family victim interaction at all, and solely it's just whichever side was the fastest wins. It could be a 1v1 game mode. Who really knows? I guess we'll see eventually. I'm sure we'll learn some more in the coming days, but those are kind of my initial thoughts. I feel like it's got to be something to fit kind of the fraternity sorority rush idea of things. And honestly, what better way to add to that than to have some new cosmetics? Because you've got all these fraternities and sororities in real life. Give our poor little victims some sort of cosmetic with the alpha, pi, gamma letters on their shirt. I don't know, the possibilities are endless for cosmetics for stuff like that. And if they're still sticking to the theme back in there, it totally works. If we're working our way upward in the timeline, it works for that too. If this is all somehow some sort of hints to TCM2 content coming into the game, if it's that too, I'm honestly cool with whatever. I'm just happy Gun is cooking up some crazy stuff. This content pack is I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy that they're putting a ton of effort into the game. At least it seems right now. We'll see what happens, but with so much content being at least teased this early, it's very, very exciting. So yeah, that said, what are your thoughts on the content pass? Do you like it? What are your thoughts on this new game mode? Were you expecting it? I certainly wasn't. And what do you think? What do you think it'll be? Do you think it's kind of what I'm saying? Do you think it's going to be something completely different than what I suggested? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's all I have. If you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please consider doing that, and I'll catch you in the next one.